Good morning, Buffalo. You are listening to the Buffalo You Up podcast. I am your host and radio DJ, Ari Nicole. That is Airy. Air, just like the air you breathe. And why at the end? Because why? It's worth it.
And I would be your other voice, other personality, Brian Dudeman. And this week on the Buffalo You Up podcast, we have a very special guest. We have my friend James.
Thank you very much, dude, man. Very happy to be here.
We're happy we finally got you on. You are quite literally one of the busiest people that I know. You have so much going on. I couldn't even hang out with you, and we're like best friends. So I haven't been able to hang out with you in like 2 weeks.
Are we getting personal immediately?
Yes.
All right.
You say 2 weeks like it's a long time.
James lives down the street from me, so
This maniac, every day, I like getting like 5, 6, 7 text messages from him. It's like, James, why don't you love me? James, okay, can we do this? What about next Thursday? Next Tuesday, James? And then the next day, James, why didn't you respond to me? And my response is because it was so much. Your love is so much, and I'm just trying my best to keep up, man.
Okay, so I understand now, though. If you're right down the street, he should be seeing you more often. My girl Rupa's around the corner from me, and I'm over at her house at least once in a while. I hadn't seen her in 3 days, and I checked up on her after 3 days.
I just think that's assuming that you're in your house, because I'm out doing things all day, so I would only be in the house if you, like, climb through my window at night, which you are always welcome to do.
Who says that I don't?
I felt extra warm in the night recently, and if those were your cuddles, know that it was consensualness. My consent is granted.
Better his cuddles than some stranger's cuddles, right?
Exactly, because, you know, our two choices in life are be cuddled by a stranger without your knowledge in the middle of the night, or be cuddled by your friend. Only two choices.
The way that we introduce this show is we always have questions, right? What has been your favorite festival to like because you've done a lot of different short films, so what has been like your favorite one to like kind of participate in?
The Fredonia Film Festival, which I was a judge and helped sort of get going. We had amazing films. We had actually across the country like Iranian film students submit this year, and they were fantastic. One of them took home the prize, and our theme this year was Bridging the Divide, and so to see that happening, I was like, heck yeah, it was great.
Of the different positions that you've worked with, because I believe that you have written before, you've acted before, I'm sure there's a countless other ones I'm forgetting. What has been like your favorite position when it comes to like either film or theater? And then the next question's gonna be film or theater.
So in college, I was a triple major, and it was acting, English, and women's and gender studies. I feel like there gets to be a point in our lives where we need to kind of think, what are we the best at doing? What are we very good at doing? But then when are we our truest self? And I think I writing comes very easily to me. And maybe I am my truest self there. But I think why I enjoyed getting into acting was that, although there was plenty that came easy with acting, there was a lot that was hard too. A lot of the stage combats. I'm a big guy. Learning how to do a handstand was extremely liberating, but really difficult. And so
I can't do a handstand.
No?
I didn't go that far into stage combat.
I got you. Well, there is still time. We can do handstands after the show. Dude, man, we can do cartwheels. Okay, great. Getting sidetracked. So if I had to settle on something, I would probably say I'd say writer.
Okay, and then the follow-up to that was, because you've done both film and theater, so theater or film?
Oh, theater. Theater is an actor's medium, for sure. Film's a director's medium. I know it's an old platitude, but I think it's pretty true.
I mean, for theater, you need to memorize that entire script.
Yeah, it's
everybody's roles, including your own. Mm-hmm. For film, you can be handed the page on set and say the line by line, and if you mess it up, you can do it again. Yeah, you can do it 20 times if you need to, so you get it right.
You only got to get it right once, but in theater, you always have to get it right. Which is good. It pushes you to be a doper actor.
It's easier to get things right in film when you have chances to do it over.
Absolutely.
In theater, you don't have chances to do it over. You want every time to be perfect.
Yes, but then not being able to do it over leads to some pretty fun, like, covering instances that I greatly enjoy.
Live
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to get too distracted from these because I could go off on tangents with Ari all day.
Isn't she just the best? Isn't she the best to have around?
She is. I look at her smile and I'm like, oh, I'm home. This is so nice.
Since I asked you this on film, what about theater? What kind of roles have you done, and what's been your favorite role for theater?
In high school, I got into theater because I think it allowed me to be anybody but myself. It allowed me to explore new things. I was so kind of paralyzed by the experience that I had had with my father and with the situation I was from, pretty intense poverty, unstable housing, drugs, alcohol, abuse, that every time I looked in the mirror and I saw elements of my father in me, I did not want any part of it. And so I got out of there. And then I got to have fun being somebody else. But then going to college, I went to SUNY Fredonia, which is a really competitive theater school. And it's one of those situations in which there are plenty of people who are brilliant actors, brilliant singers who go their entire time at Fredonia, and their senior year they finally get a role as an extra in a musical or something like that. And so I was really prepared. I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta be on my grind. If I never get cast in anything, it's fine. And I got incredibly lucky in that after my first year, I got a really wonderful role every semester like clockwork. But it was because I found that I had a type in college, and that type was strong, powerful, abusive father figure. It was something that I could tap into. I was able to grow facial hair and have a deep voice, and it was something I kept getting tossed. And so in terms of what my favorite role was there, a lot of those fall into that pot, so much so that I think I could put them together. And a lot of good was accomplished there. Spring Awakening, a lot of people love that musical. I was the male lead there playing all the male adults, which is great, but it's less fun playing 13 different pedophiles and child beaters. But I think the favorite show that I did was, it was a, my favorite show was The Laramie Project. My favorite show was The Laramie Project. So it's the story of a young boy named Matthew Shepard. It's kind of like the seminal American hate crime. This young gay boy was basically kidnapped, beaten, tied to a fence, and left to die. And his mother actually visited the school that year. And it was something where I was still very young in my career. I had a lot of growth to do, but I felt so blessed to be able to give that story. We did it in the round. And so getting to look at people and give the monologues of his father at the sentencing hearing was something where I finally felt like that was home. That was what art felt like it should be to me, and I felt really lucky to be there.
Film.
I've just done less film, but my favorite thing by far is I was hired by a company called Dwarven Forge to go down to New York City, and my favorite pastime is Dungeons and Dragons. You know this. And I was hired by them, and they team up with the company that makes Dungeons & Dragons, and they dressed us in full makeup and costume. You can look it up online. It was called Descent into Doom on the Dwarven Forge YouTube channel. And so they had me as this really a large orc named Rufus Crumblesome. And Rufus was a basically extremely submissive orc. So he was a paladin. He started out as a pirate at first with his captain. And so he would say things like, "Remember, Captain, we need to befriend before we behead." And all these things of this orc who's very big, very powerful, but a total sub to any, like, powerful force, especially a woman who, like, came in there that he could be like, "Okay, Mom, I'm gonna take care of you. It's gonna be great." And by far my favorite thing. They even sculpted tusks for me, and it was just, it was a dream. So favorite film thing was that, for sure.
Okay. So
I enjoyed hearing you come in and out of character there almost seamlessly. That was awesome to watch.
Okay, Ari, because you haven't talked enough, and I'm dealing with this goofball over here.
Normally people tell me I talk too much. Wow.
Well, I can't get enough of it. So, if you could only have one condiment for the rest of your life, now I'm talking like this could be a salad dressing, this could be mustard, this could be like mayonnaise, this could be vinaigrette, but it's the condiment for the rest of your life. No other condiments. What condiment are you going with?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce. Great answer.
I gotta have my hot sauce.
Great
I carry
umbrella.
hot sauce in my purse.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
And now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna bring up another, since you had to ask me a question, I have to ask you a question. All right. So you are the director of a production of Phantom of the Opera at Art Park coming up this summer. And they are expecting to sell out on Friday and Saturday for both the matinee and the evening productions. How many Fresnels do you use to light the proscenium theater so that everyone in the back rows can view the entire show?
I would use 0 because if you're buying backseat tickets, then you're a dirty peasant that is not allowed in my bourgeois theater.
We got to take a quick commercial break. We got to take a word from our sponsors. All right, so we're in the last few minutes of our wrap up. So I'm sorry that most of the time went to the 20 minutes. You really get time to plug your works. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about right now. It's kind of like you're writing. Are you writing anything right now? Like, are you like any short films? Anything you got going on? And I'm not even fishing for romance in the 21st century. I mean, literally, I know you have Mirror Commercial, so I'm saying if you have other things going on.
You mentioned that. I know what you're fishing for. I got incredibly blessed to be involved with adapting a novel. There's a novelist who lives out in Bemis Point, which is a local spot. It's like a big destination during the summer. It's on a beautiful lake, but it's this it's the story of this man named Kim, and it's a true story. It's his life. His wife's 17-year-long battle with cancer, and her sort of her own experience with faith and family and community. And amazing events happened while she had this cancer. She maybe I shouldn't. I won't spoil the end of the movie, but she survived car crashes. She survived immense family tragedies, and at one point, when she was deep into stage 4 and it looked like she only had a few weeks left, she went into the hospital, and I've seen the scans. She went in, and they thought it was going to be okay. You have a little bit of time left, and the cancer wasn't just in remission; it was gone. All of it was gone, and so. It's a really inspiring story. It is heartbreaking and funny and wonderful, and I was so lucky to be a part of it. But that it sort of deals with her story. I won't spoil the ending, what winds up happening, but my process for that with Kim was I spent hours and hours in the town interviewing him, poring over family documents, and then something like 100 hours with the different members of the community. And so it's although it does draw from the book, it's really more just like a piece of work that is straight from the community. It's from the mouths of the people who knew Marcia. And we got very lucky. I can't really step on my own toes with where we're at, but it's out in Hollywood. We just got a producer attached to the script, and any further than that, I don't quite want to divulge. But
NDA.
Yeah. Well,
Understood.
Yeah. But things are looking quite good, and if anything could bring more film to Western New York, we're happy to get the West Coast involved.
So I have a curious question, since you had divulged that you have also won the 48-hour film festival in the past. So we have that in common, and we both know that 'tis the season for it to be up and running again.
Real quick, shout out Brianna Blank, shout out Pandora, the partners there for the 48-hour film festival. I didn't win it myself; they won it for us. So thank you, everybody.
So I am just curious whether you plan to participate in the 48-hour film festival again this year, or whether you plan to take this year off and allow the trophy to go to somebody else.
Well, if somebody were to propose to me an opportunity to do it and my schedule lined up with it, I would happily participate again. I guess that's all I'll say on that.
That's exciting news. Looks like we have a talented actor, writer, etc. available for 48-hour film fest.
I feel like you're looking at me, but I will unfortunately not be doing it this year. I've never done them in the past. Won't continue to do them in the future, just because it's always the weekend of Fredonia moving in weekend.
Well, stay tuned to see what me and Ari put together with some sock puppets and some popsicle sticks.
James, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. You know, one of these days, I'm sure that your name's going to be engraved on the Hollywood Walk of Fame right next to Ari. So that's going to be a fun time. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It means the world to me.
And it was really nice to meet you, James. I hope we get to work together sometime in the future.
I hope so too.
Well, Buffalo, that's going to be it for me. I'm your host and podcast personality, Ari Nicole.
I've been Brian Manzabricki.
And this has been the Buffalo You Up podcast.
Thank you so much, and have a good night.
Sorry,